Before we begin this video, I'd like to let you all know that this video will talk about deeply disturbing topics such as suicide, self-harm, sexual abuse, murder, drug abuse, homophobia, and probably a lot more. So if any of that stuff bothers you, you should probably go watch a different video of mine. And while we're at it, only around 5% of my viewers are subscribed. So if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. It's free and it helps me out. Now let's begin. Nostalgia. A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. Nearing the end of 2020, Adobe had announced to its customers that Adobe Flash would cease all support. This caused an internet outrage, as many creators and artists struggled to archive their work. As of recently, there are still thousands of lost Flash media. However, every once in a while, a new archive will appear for all to witness. The subgenre of digital horror, consisting of archiving old lost media, is not a new addition to the internet. However, the way it can be utilized is exceptional, to say the least. If any of you have visited my channel previously, you'd know I've covered the same subgenre before in the form of a Flipnote archive. The June Archive is a horror series that revolves around the idea that your nostalgia and memory are being utilized to control your present and future. The June Archive has an existential view of the past, and it's intoxicating when coupled with the visuals of a trained artist. Whereas the June Archive addresses the nihilism of old nostalgic media, Lacey Games was created to address the abuse of the feminine youth, creating a more personal, therefore more horrifying, narrative. They both utilize the naivety of our past selves as a medium to tell a horrific story. However, in the case of Lacey Games, it's viscerally horrifying. The first entry into the series was posted by GhostTundra on October 10th of 2022. The video's description reads this.
Cute little game I found after many years. I remember playing this as a child.
The video itself is an archived Flash game from 2006 called Lacey's Wardrobe. Lacey has a busy day today. In the morning, she will attend a picnic in the park. Then, in the afternoon, she must go shopping. Finally, she will have a date with the cutest guy. But there's only one problem. She has no idea what to wear. Can you help Lacey put together the cutest outfits for each situation? With this message, we've established our core gameplay cycle. Our main character, Lacey, must create new outfits with the help of the viewer. Take a look at Lacey's eyes. Doesn't she look disturbed? As if she'd seen something horrifying? No, that's not the right way to describe it. It's as if she's living the horror itself. Once we finish picking our outfits, there's a man in the woods, watching us. It appears as if Lacey is not alone after all. Our next excursion consists of going to the mall. As the player assigns clothing to Lacey, a phone can be heard.
Lacey, did you see my stacks, Lacey? I can't wait to meet up, Lacey. I want to. Have a good time tonight with you, Lacey. Tonight. Bye-bye.
The man is now peering through the window, his disgusting ambiance cutting through the atmosphere. When Lacey appears in the mall, the man is nowhere in sight.
Please help. He's going to kill me.
It's the dead of night. There's a gift on your doorstep, a Valentine's heart. Within it, a disgusting, gory mess. The phone rings once again.
Lacey, I'm here. Did you get my gift, Lacey? Did you like it? I'm here. Open the door, my darling. Open the door. Open the fucking door!
Please don't make me go outside. Please. Please.
The horrid visage of Lacey's killer has been revealed. He killed her because he loved her. He consumed her remains so they would be together forever. Whether this is an odd case of haunted gameplay or if this was intentionally created by the developers is unknown. However, the horrifying nature of Lacey Games presents the audience with an interesting question. Who or what created this? The second episode of the series is labeled Disturbing Secret Ending Found in 2000 Flash Game, Lacey's Diner. Unlike the previous entry, this specific video is presented from an outside perspective. Looking at the description, this character is Char887, who we'll call Charlie for the time being. The video itself is about Charlie showing their YouTube audience the alternative ending to an old Flash game called Lacey's Diner. They begin letting the audience know that they found this old Flash game on an archive site, and that Lacey Games was considerably popular during the early 2000s. Charlie begins playing the game. Our character must add the correct items into the main bowl at Lacey's request. However, if time runs out, the customers will get hungry. So far, the gameplay is fairly normal. However, our player fast forwards to the point where their time begins to run out.
That's good.
That was odd. Our player got the ingredient in at the last second, but what would happen if we were to let time actually run out? After a moment of silence, we're shown the real Lacey's Diner on the corner of an empty, hollow street.
This is all I have. And the customers are hungry and unforgiving. If I fail, I see no other option. Other than killing myself. Why can't these fucking bastards just wait 3 minutes for this fucking food and try my hardest and yet I'm running out of money to survive? This isn't fair at all. It isn't fair. I hate all of them. I hate them. I hate them. Tomorrow I'm going to give them something to eat, alright? They'll face what they did to me.
This is the reality of Lacey's Diner, a horror show tailored to Lacey's childhood and current abuses. Cigarettes, cockroaches, pornography, meth, used condoms, broken glass, and lastly, Lacey's abusive uncle. When putting the different items into the bowl, short frames of exposition can be seen. Most of the frames exhibit a repulsive image followed by text presumably given by Lacey. These moments were hard to forget because they were superglued from my heels to my thighs, and not even the strongest bird beak could peck it off. Smoke tinted me in gray forever, and it made me tear up so much I almost cried in front of him once. Never again. First they dominated the ceiling of my room. Then I started seeing them everywhere. Bugs and bites and dirt and ash and vomit where they shouldn't have been. They were all cloudy but crisp and very jumpy, and I wanted to suck it all inside me like a reverse frog dissection and end it all for once. His face sucked by the static. The grains tickled my uncle's eyes with pleasures. He was the same as me, but didn't want to admit it. He lived in a world of his own where he was desirable and sensual, and he got so used to his lies that he believed what the computer would whisper into his ear. And when he looked down and saw my little bruised cheeks smiling back at him, the exact size of his sweaty palm, even though they could be shaky, he was always the type to see the positive in things, and he couldn't keep the mayo from raining all over it like a mad fever dream. What a relief. Any thoughts of wrongness would dissipate long before it got into his mind, and screams were inaudible to his ears. It was just bliss. Tip of your fingers. It firstly breaches your skin layers, getting underneath your nail, slowly but steadily into your blood vessels. It loves to feel all your fat swirling around as it rips through your muscle and touches the very core of your bones. Based on the subtext, it's clear that Lacey had unfortunately fallen victim to the abuse and molestation of her uncle. The abhorrent nature of a man using his own niece to benefit himself in his own deranged approach is nothing short of repulsive. Lacey's Diner is a story that involves a girl named Lacey who was abused by her uncle in her childhood. However, even after she moved on from him, the abuse shifted forms. For many people, the workplace can be an abusive setting. After having dealt with insufferable people her entire life, Lacey believed that's all there ever was. Unfortunately, it led to her untimely suicide. It appears to me that the original creators of Lacey Games are trying to send a message. Whether it's to the audience or even a specific person is unknown. Slowly but surely, we're getting closer to a final understanding of this story. In the meantime, however, I'd like to present some current questions. When the dark imagery was shown on screen, a name can be briefly shown. Rocio. Who is this character? What is their purpose? It appears we can find all these things and more within Lacey's Pet Shop.
Okay. Before I start, can you please guarantee this stays between us? You said this interview was for your thesis or something, right? Because I'm not affiliated with Lacey'sGames.com, okay? They're spreading lies on the internet. All of the stuff the parents kept complaining about, that wasn't me. Something about fake games, hidden scares, and some other stuff. I didn't know about anything. I was always just confused. Speaking about fake games, though, there was one I actually played myself once because the annoying parents kept bringing it up and up and up again, and it was pissing me off, so I was like, fine, I'll take a damn look then. And then I found out they might have actually been right. It didn't even feel like a Lacey's game. It might have been Lacey's Pet Shop?
Lacey's Pet Shop is yet another Flash game from 2007, once again presented by Charlie. Grabbed an interview with the co-founder of LaceyGames.com, then played through Lacey's Pet Shop. I don't even know what to think. The rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper. The way that Grace speaks about the controversy involving her previous games, it's almost as if she isn't telling the full truth of the matter. The way she talks in the interview concerning her involvement in the current state of Lacey Games, she essentially tells everyone, Rocio is the bad guy, I'm the good guy, I had no idea these things were happening. It's odd, to say the least. Moving forward, Charlie begins to play the latest horror show of a children's game, Lacey's Pet Shop. Lacey has one of the most famous pet shops in town. People come from all over to buy their perfect little furry companions, and it will be your job to help her today. The first pet is a dog that has overgrown and dirty fur. The owner wants a clean, cute, playful puppy. Once Lacey finishes with the dog, we're presented with a pop star who wants her cat to be as striking as her. We dye the cat's hair purple as well as give them contacts and glasses. The next customer asks for a budgie, but they don't appreciate the color palette. She dyes the feathers black and gives the bird some shoes. The requests only get weirder from here. The next customer wants a hamster with an abnormally long neck. We see Lacey being forced to stretch and contort this hamster, killing it in the process. After the gruesome scene, the next customer walks in. He wants a turtle with teeth so it can smile back at the man. Lacey fulfills his request. The last and most disgusting request is for a rabbit without arms, ears, or a tail because it's too distracting for the man. Once the request is fulfilled, a sense of dread fills the face of Lacey, leaving her with fear for the next pet. It's at this point moving forward where Lacey Games becomes a point-and-click style adventure.
Where am I? Can't enter. The cat is blocking my way. Should I try speaking to it?
Hiss, I won't let you pass. This is the most awful day ever. Hiss, I was chasing a bird and the bird stole my skin. I have been hurt, so I will hurt others.
I should try finding that skin. I can click here to go left. There it is! I should grab it from its beak. Got it. The skeleton kitty will be happy. Maybe it'll let me through now.
What do you want? Oh, wait, that's so kind of you. I'm cute again. I'm sorry for being so moody. Meow bad. You may pass.
I can enter now. Maybe the exit lies within. I must click on the door. They stare at me as I enter. The pictures on the walls. This door is locked. I feel like I'm intruding. Should I say something?
I've always known what you are. From the moment you first touched me to when I found myself stepping over remains of your skin glued to the floor. You have no regards and I had none either. You squealed like a pig, just like a pig. This had been my childhood dream, the one you took from me. I collected all those bruises for years. My spine hurt as if a needle went through each segment. Once I got used to it, I didn't think about it anymore. But you made me think about it forever when you made that mistake. You made a mistake. You took my angel away. You took my angel away. The pigs vanished from the scene.
I feel like crawling inside of it. Please click it. Yes, I know. No one forced me back inside, but this pain just hurts so comfortably. Oh, I found a key in the middle of my edgy moment. Now it feels dumb. Uncle? Have you seen Puddles anywhere? I can't find her. I checked everywhere. Stop laughing. what awaits me for in the room of bath. It's always filled with blood and horror games, but this is just lemonade. I've tasted it. I'm not afraid of myself. Let's look just for a little bit. I'm Lacey.
Rocio created this dark imagery for parents who have been complaining about her games since the day they were added. This is her response to the people who've tested her patience far too many times. Looking at this, it's very possible that the toxic customers from episode 2 could have been poisonous comments left by the parents to control what their child views on the internet, only for it to be in vain as Rocio creates unimaginable horror to a young viewer's eyes, illustrating a crucial principle for these games: the stubborn nature of a developer against her own audience.
But it never was real. It was just a bizarre story that somehow happened to my life. But it never was real. But I had this dream that was so real. I dreamed that it was me and my mother that we killed 2 years ago. And that's another story.
I was thinking of getting a cat this time. Yes, a small fluffy kitten. I really, really want a cat. We would do all sorts of stuff together, like getting ice cream. I could have some right now. I'm so hungry right now. It's been days, but I just can't leave. I can't. He's still under the bed. He'll look at me. But after all of this is over, maybe I could also go shopping. I could go to a record store and buy CDs of my favorite songs. I will have so much fun. It will be so fun. I will listen to them all day long. My sweet little doggy, my little angel. I couldn't take it anymore. You can hurt me all you'd like, but you weren't allowed to take it away from me. I will let you rot. Phew. It was just a nightmare.
I only then realized the other co-founder, Rocio, was hiding a lot of things from me. We went our separate ways in like 2010. I'm not even sure she's still alive, to be honest with you.
Underneath Lacey's bed is her uncle's rotting corpse, lying in wait for anyone to find. Lacey is a victim of childhood abuse. Her uncle had taken advantage of her. However, she felt as if she couldn't leave. Many times, victims of abuse can feel as if there is no way out, trapped within a relationship that is unhealthy for both people. Lacey, however, would find her key in the form of her uncle's death. After being tainted with rage from her dog Puddles, she finally had enough strength to kill her uncle and stuff his body under her bed. After this, she tries to cope with his death by imagining her future, with new pets and new lives. Shopping, buying CDs, having a pet cat, eating ice cream together. But she can't do any of that, because his body is still under the bed. If you thought this was the end of Lacey Games, you'd be wrong. We still have another video to analyze.
Cause
scream. That was odd. Our video begins with another interview of Grace and Charlie. The two girls begin to discuss the scream heard at the end of Lacey's song. Grace begins to mention that Rocio was the voice of Lacey, and how voice acting had taken a major toll on Rocio, not just mentally but physically as well, causing her to pull out her hair, slam her head against the wall, as well as screaming in the bathroom for all to hear. Moving forward, Grace gives Charlie the HTML files of the original Lacey Games website, with over 50 plus games of content, along with new characters such as Maisie and Jay. Charlie says that Jay was her favorite character as a kid. However, Grace mentions that she finds Jay to be creepy, especially after Rocio had permanently killed her off, because they had a Jay situation in 2009. Charlie says she doesn't remember any of that, and Grace writes it off as trauma repression. They begin to play Jay's skating game. The gameplay is relatively normal up until level 4, when the game begins to malfunction heavily, as we're taken to a scene depicting a bloody corpse with the words, "You killed her," appearing above it. This is the moment Rocio had killed off Jay, and as far as we know, the reason is unknown. Grace begins to explain the Jay situation mentioned earlier. There was a barrage of emails from upset parents concerned about the societal implications of Jay's non-conforming nature. Her tomboy-like attitude was seen as a threat to their daughter's femininity. Hello parents. Today I want to bring attention to this website I found my girl visiting, Lacey's Girl Games. I thought it was innocent until I saw the mascots. There's this one, Jay, who acts and dresses like a boy. She also throws the devil sign constantly, and has a skateboard, which is inappropriate for a girl. I can't believe they put a queer in a child's game. I'm a very concerned mom because of this. My little Amber started telling me she wanted a skateboard. What's next? Wearing those hideous boy caps? Hanging around boys who will hurt her? Wanting to become a boy? Be careful. I can definitely agree that a character that says I'd only be caught dead wearing makeup in one of her games is not a role model for little girls to be having. I don't know why they couldn't just keep Lacey in the other one, and maybe get rid of this boy-girl thing. Let us know about updates on sending emails. Maybe also block it in schools until then. Rocio catches wind, and responds to these emails with a short but chilling message. Be careful what you wish for. Lacey's Makeup Parlor is the second game in the video that Charlie begins to play. We must help Lacey's customers become their most beautiful selves using makeup. It's playing on the ideals of modern society that have been connecting beauty with makeup for years. Moving onward, Lacey begins to put makeup on her customers, and as she finishes up with the third customer, her face begins to droop, almost as if they were in a stroke. A gloved hand comes into frame to fix the customer's face. The next customer has a similar problem, with a maggot crawling across her face. The next customer is relatively normal. However, for a singular frame, we can see a message. Vanity doesn't die. You are not excused from vanity yet. You can still be looking bad now. I can fix you. As we get a glimpse of a morgue, I believe it's becoming more and more evident what this specific game is referencing. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue. We once again help the customer regain their beautiful figure. The last customer is Jay?
No. I'm not here. She's not here. This isn't happening. I look so ugly. And I grieve. And I'm crying. No. She's just a client. She just needs makeup. She just needs her makeup done. Yes? Yes. Like me. I just need fixing. I just need makeup. You look so beautiful.
We begin to do Jay's makeup. Towards the end of her makeover, Jay's eyes begin to fill with maggots as the glitches become more frequent. The following footage is the most visceral form of horror we've seen on this channel, so be warned.
Silly Jay. Oh, silly Jay. Please collaborate. You just need to stand still. So I can fix you. Maybe. Maybe if you just used some makeup. Maybe if you were a little more feminine, you wouldn't have. This wouldn't. You just need some.
Grace begins to explain to Charlie that Rocio would edit the games to make Jay appear more and more. When Charlie asks Grace why she never stopped Rocio, Grace responds by saying there was nothing she could do, adding on to it by saying none of it was her fault, because it wasn't her business. After a bit of back and forth banter, Charlie begins to entice Grace with the mystery of what happened to Rocio, bringing the disturbing Rabbithole Lacey game to an enticing close. Before we analyze anything, I'd like to give a brief disclaimer that I'm not an expert on the concept of abuse, so you should always do your research when speaking about the topic. With that being said, the story of Lacey Games is riddled with the evidence of abuse, hardship, and neglect. Lacey's uncle was a serial abuser, taking advantage of her both sexually and physically to help his own sick obsession. I've said this previously, but the abuse that someone undergoes can often be seen as some sort of entrapment to the victim. The key to escape can seem somewhat trivial and unassuming from an outside point of view. However, abuse victims often find comfort in the amicable affliction of abuse. This isn't always the case, however, as many abuse victims become stuck within the optimistic reminiscence of the relationship, only for them to repeat the abusive process. Lacey had felt this way for a long time, and if her uncle hadn't killed her pet dog, then it wouldn't have ended. Lacey murders her uncle and stuffs his body under the bed, leaving him to rot for eternity. This, however, was not the end of Lacey's story, as another manifestation of abuse takes over in the form of a toxic workplace. Unlike abusive relationships, the concept of an abusive workplace is something created by a system much larger than ourselves, and many times it's almost impossible to escape the abuse of a commercially created monstrosity. In almost every version of Lacey's life, she's been miserable, whether that be abuse, mental illness, or even murder. It makes me wonder whether Rocio created Lacey Games as a site for young girls to have fun, or a site to show the horror of feminine abuse. It doesn't just end with sexual abuse, or even physical abuse. The societal abuse that women have undergone for years is a clear plot point that Rocio wants to point out. The systemic hardship of physical beauty is another subtle yet completely relevant abuse within society. Rocio uses this fact to retaliate against the parents. It's also completely possible that Rocio created these games as a twisted form of therapy for herself, using Lacey as a puppet to recreate the different forms of trauma she had endured. Grace, however, wanted these games to be a haven for young girls to thrive. From the moment we hear mention of Grace and Rocio, it's clear that these characters are meant to be antithetical to each other, the duality of the female mind. Rocio was the living entropy for the series, causing chaos within the online metaverse of Lacey's games, creating horrifying imagery almost as an art form. Grace, however, is the complete reciprocal of Rocio, being very level-headed and somewhat absent-minded to Rocio's antics. Although Grace might seem this way, it's also very possible that she could be hiding something from the audience. Possibly something about Rocio's past that we didn't know about yet. Regardless, Grace and Rocio are connected somehow, and it might be a while before we figure out what that might be. For now, all we can do is speculate. GhostTundra is an amazing artist and a promising creator based on their horror series. Her direction as well as her creativity when it comes to horror projects is outstanding, which is often hard to come by in this day and age. It's very likely that we aren't finished with the story of Lacey Games. However, the story that's been created thus far has been a very stimulating experience, and I'm excited to learn more about the website. Thank you all for watching. I know most of you are clicking off as of now, but for those who are still here, don't forget to subscribe. I'm close to 500 and my goal is 1,000, so if you could help me get there, that'd be great. I'd also like to give a big thank you to my girlfriend for voice acting throughout this video. I could not have done this without her. The new soundtrack for this video is going to be out by the time I finish this, so if anyone wants to go check that out, go ahead. I'll leave a link in the description. Make sure to check the Discord often because I'll post updates in there. Yeah, I appreciate anybody who's still watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.